Welcome back, and I'm back with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent this morning. And Mr. Secretary, one top Chinese trade official is headed to Washington this week, although we understand that the U.S. officials say this is not a formal negotiation. He's only meeting with deputy-level officials. What can we expect from the further deal clarity on a trade deal completion with China?
So, Maria, this official's visit, as you said, is more of a technical visit. It has nothing to do with the ongoing trade negotiations. My guess is that we will meet again. I'll meet again with my Chinese counterpart, the vice premier, at the end of October, beginning of November. We've been on a 120-day roll process as we negotiate with the Chinese. As I've said before, it's a very complicated relationship that we have. Our largest military rival is also the second largest economy in the world. It's also the largest U.S. deficit. So we are moving very deliberately on this. Both sides have approached it with great respect. And I think that each meeting, we met in Geneva, we met in London, we met in Stockholm. And I think each meeting, we are moving the ball forward toward a more permanent relationship.
Is there any effort on the horizon or in the talks expected about removing those Chinese companies that trade on our exchanges to pressure the Chinese to stop supporting our adversaries like Russia and to start being a good actor on the global stage, Mr. Secretary? That would be an economic lever you can pull.
Yeah, that hasn't been on the table yet. There have been other things. We have quite high tariffs on China. The Chinese are purchasing substantial amounts of Russian crude, but they also purchase substantial amounts before the Russian invasion. So everything's on the table, Maria. And the good thing here is President Trump has a very good relationship with Party Chair Xi. So when you have the leaders at the highest level in communication, it makes the job much easier.
Yeah, great point. Mr. Secretary, I want to ask you about the Fed, President Trump firing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over the alleged mortgage fraud. The president says he wants to move quickly on announcing her potential replacement, hinting that he's already have somebody in mind. But Cook is refusing to resign. She's already planning a lawsuit, and as you know, her lawyer is the lawyer of Hunter Biden, Abby Lowell. But we know that President Trump now has a path to reshape the FOMC after this firing as Fed governor. Where does this go next? Is this going to be held up in the courts, you think?
Well, a couple of things here, Maria. There are two kinds of people. There are people who think that President Trump is putting undue pressure on the Fed, and there are people like President Trump and myself who think that if a Fed official committed mortgage fraud, that this should be examined, and that they shouldn't be serving as one of the nation's leading financial regulators. And what we haven't heard from Ms. Cook is we haven't heard her say, "I didn't do it." We haven't heard her say, "I didn't do it." She just keeps saying the president can't remove her. The other thing, too, that I have called in the recent past for an internal review of all the Fed's operations, and I've encouraged Chair Powell to do this on an internal basis before there is an external review. And this is the kind of thing that needs to be addressed, because the Fed is an unaccountable institution, and its relationship with the American people depends on a high level of trust. And incidents like this puncture that trust. So President Trump is trying to make sure that anyone who serves at this institution has the trust of the American people.
And of course, this firing gives the president potentially a path to obtain a majority of support on the Federal Reserve. And is that the goal here? Are you expecting Mickey Bowman and Christopher Waller to go along with the agenda if, in fact, you are moving toward a majority of support within the Fed?
Well, again, Maria, all the Fed governors are independent. Is Governor Bowman, Governor Waller? We don't send them over a note and say vote this way.
Right.
These are distinguished individuals with long careers, and they may have a more open mind in terms of monetary policy, the economy. Governor Waller was out in the wilderness a couple of months ago when he was talking about the need to lower rates when the rest of the Fed board was pretty intractable. And when you say a majority, Maria, that's just on the board in D.C.
That's right.
There's also the regional governors who also vote. So, it's a complicated institution. Since 2008, the Fed has, I think, strayed from its core mission on monetary policy.
Yeah.
I've said many times that the straying from this core mission threatens the monetary policy independence, and I think the Fed needs to get back to its core mission.
Yeah, well, look, I made the point to Christine Lagarde last week. Jay Powell may very well have already violated this quote-unquote independence at the Federal Reserve when he first took office, immediately putting new climate change rules in place at the Fed. At first they said, oh, you got the mandate. The mandate is employment and inflation. And yet here we are with climate change rules and DEI rules that everybody is supposed to follow, not to mention cutting interest rates by 50 basis points right before a presidential election, and then after the election say, well, never mind, I'm not going to cut rates because I'm focused on inflation.
Well, again, I think it speaks to a groupthink that comes onto the board and a lack of openness, because I've spoken many times about, Alan Greenspan in the 90s was a visionary, and he could see what the productivity boom from the internet, from the adoption of office automation was doing. And there was this incredible productivity boom, and he knew what was coming, because he was looking forward, not the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very good chance with this AI boom that we're seeing, we're going to see the productivity kick in as soon as the first quarter of next year. So I think everyone who's setting policy at the Fed, whether it's the board, the regional bank presidents, the staff, should have a bit of an open mind here. Well,
that's a great point, given the AI situation today and how it will change everything, growth numbers across the board and certainly business in general. Real quick before you go, Mr. Secretary, when shall we expect President Trump's announcement for his nomination for the chairman of the Federal Reserve once Jay Powell's term is up?
We're moving. There are 11 very strong candidates. President Trump knows some of them he doesn't. I'm going to begin talking to them after Labor Day, and there'll be some other folks around the White House who will also interview them. And we will present 3 or 4 candidates to the president. And like I said, he has a very open mind. He's very sophisticated on monetary policy, which I think drives some people at the Fed crazy, that they can't just dictate, okay, sir, here's the way it is. He has his own views. He's going to make those known. And I think that he has great reverence for the Fed as an institution, and I think he believes that it's lost its way, and that the new chair will be someone who is expert on monetary policy, regulatory policy, and knows how to run a sprawling institution, which the Fed is.
Sounds like we'll know who that is perhaps in the fall.
Surely.
All right. Secretary, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for your leadership. What an incredible term. Thank you, sir.